Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today guys I'm going to talk about the two main branches of calisthenics, skills and endurance strength, which one in my point of view is better, and the pros and cons for each of them. So I've written here down so that there is something visual going on. So skills and endurance and strength. These are the two main branches of calisthenics, and the competitions of calisthenics are all about skills and all about endurance and strength. So the skills competitions are a bit more famous because of the fact that the skills are exercises that are very appealing and they're very impressive to see. So people may get more impressed by watching someone doing a skill than watching someone doing 100 pull-ups in a row, all right? But lately the endurance strength competitions are getting more and more famous, and more athletes are training on this second field. So that's pretty nice. So with the main difference between the two main branches of calisthenics is that skills require a lot of specific training, specific technique, and specific strength. The exercises are done with body positions that are very unusual, so we don't place ourselves in those positions during the day, for example, and therefore the body is not used at all to be in these positions, and therefore in order to be able to achieve a dynamic movement or a static hold, you need a lot of specific training on that exercises. So in the skills there are a lot of things called propedeutics, so a lot of things, little exercises that get more and more advanced the more you go on, that are gonna help you achieve at the end of the day the full skill done correctly. Instead, endurance strength is very little about like technique or advanced strength. In endurance strength the exercises that are done are pretty basic, so basic pull-ups, basic dips, basic push-ups. There are also muscle ups and legs exercises as well, but the main three exercises on strength and endurance is push-ups, dips, and pull-ups. So the technique for these exercises is very little, but with this different training you develop a lot the resilience, and that's why it's called endurance. So the endurance of the muscle increases. You develop also as well the resilience, you know, in breathing, and you get better at like the anaerobic exercise. The endurance strength is all about aerobics, so breathing and so on. Instead, skills is more about like holds, is more like an anaerobic exercise. So those are the main, like a little summary for both of them. So the pros and cons. The pros for skills are pretty much cons for endurance strength, and the pros for endurance strength are cons for skills. That's how different the two fields of calisthenics are. So for skills, of course, the pro is that you acquire very specific and advanced technique for certain movements, and these movements are, you know, impressive, and they're impressive to see, and therefore you know, if you wanna impress a girl or if you wanna impress someone, you do most of the time a skill, you know, to show how good you are, normally like that. But again, the pro of strength and endurance is developing endurance, so being able to develop a lot of breathing power and a lot of endurance in the muscles to be able to do reps with very little time resting, and a lot of reps in a row, high amount, the total amount of reps is very high. And of course the con of skill is the fact that you don't develop a lot of endurance, and the con of endurance is that you don't develop a lot of technique. So the pros of one is the cons of the other one. And that's why I think, in my opinion, the best thing to do is even if you're someone that is training for skills, it's always good to incorporate at least, you know, once a week exercises for endurance. So you are a little bit training for endurance as well, and the same goes for endurance. At least once a week, doing some technique exercises, some propedeutics, some holds, isometrics, to be able to develop that technique as well. And yeah, that's pretty much the pros and cons of the exercises. The injuries for both of the fields are pretty much at the same category. Maybe for skills is a bit higher, the risk of injury, but the reason for that is pretty simple, because of the fact that you are already in a position that is very, very unusual. So even if you're a very advanced athlete, just a slightly mistake can cause an injury, because of the fact that the body is already in a very extreme position, and therefore a little mistake or a little movement done not correctly may cause an injury. Instead, for strength and endurance, the risk of injury is low because of the fact that you're doing basic exercises, but it becomes a bit higher if you start training with weights. A lot of competitions are with weights. So again, doing the same basic exercises but with weights. And again, if you put too much weight and you're not used to it, you may cause a strain or you may get inflamed because of that. So just pay attention to, follow the correct technique for skills, correct progressions. Do not rush. Do everything one step at a time and develop the strength necessary. And for endurance strength, again, if you're using weights, that it's pretty good to use weights as well. Don't start with like 30 kilos, but start slowly, 5, develop strength for 5, then go to 10, then 15, and so on. So the end. Now, which one is better? And the answer, guys, is none of them. So none of them is better than the other one. They're all very, very good. They're all very, very advanced. And the one that is better, it may be better for you, but it not may be better for another one. There are a lot of factors coming into playing. And for example, if you're someone that suffers an injury on a shoulder, on an elbow, you may not want to train with skills, because if you have an injury, if you train already in a very extreme, in very weird and extreme positions, you may worsen your injury. So you may go for endurance strength instead. And therefore it depends for each one, Instead, if you're someone that likes to do very different variations and very different exercises, and to change, again, doing strength and endurance, it may be boring for you, because again, the exercises are pretty much basic and they're all the same. So when you're doing pull-ups, you're doing pull-ups all the time in that way. So you're not doing archer, you're not doing like commando, you're not doing other variations of pull-ups, you're just doing the pull-ups normally, the basic pull-ups, to be able to get better at it. So if you're someone that wants to change, have more freedom of choose different movements and so on, then skills is better. I think that becoming an elite athlete in skills and endurance, it's hard in the same way. So becoming an elite endurance athlete, it's as hard as becoming an elite athlete in skills. The problem though is that becoming a beginner in strength and endurance is a lot easier than becoming a beginner in skills, because of the fact that skills already by themselves are movements that our body is not used to. We may be used to, push, at least like a push-up or like a dip or a pull-up, are movements that are physiological. So we may do them during our during the day, but instead the skills are already advanced in that way. So it's very unusual. Plus the fact that you need to hold the body or to do dynamic exercises in those very weird positions, it's already very advanced. So even the beginner that wants to start skills needs to have at least some ground to work on, because it's already pretty hard to do. So that's the video, guys, I wanted to do. So if you're someone that you know, is starting calisthenics and you're trying to understand which one you prefer most, I think the best way to go is try them both. So train for like 2-3 weeks in skills and see how it goes, and then try to train for 2 or 3 weeks in strength and endurance and see which one of them you enjoy the most, and then go for that. Remember that it's very good to don't stop training in the other field. If you're choosing skills, don't forget to train also a little bit for endurance, and if you're training for endurance, don't forget to train a little bit for skills, for technique. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and see ya. Bye bye.